This edition of One Play Wednesday is going to be about Ahmad Gardner's tone-setting sack or forced fumble, or actually was none of those things. He apparently didn't receive a statistical designation for the play. It's the first play of the game for the Dolphins in their visit to the Jets in Week 5. This win puts the Jets at 3-2. They had two come from behind wins, obviously earlier in the season. This one wasn't a come from behind win as they knocked Teddy Bridgewater out of the game. This game essentially became a runaway for the Jets. A lot of young talent on that defense. They play fast and hard. They got Zach Wilson back. Brees Hall had a huge week. I will have another edition of One Play Wednesday later tonight about one of Brees Hall's plays, one of his receptions. But let's get into the film. If this is your first time checking out my channel for One Play Wednesday, what I do is I just kind of talk about one play, some of the specifics of it. Being as this is the first play of the game, I think this is an ultra aggressive move. This is not just something that Ahmad Gardner does by chance. This is a formation that they have prepared for, no doubt. It's 21 personnel, but the formation is twin wing. So what I mean is you got a tight end here. That's a fullback, number 30. And then I think you've got Hill and Waddle, or at least I know it's two receivers up top. The video is kind of grainy for me. And on the motion away by the fullback, essentially the Jets are going to turn it into a too high safety structure, which it is pre-snap anyway, whereby you have the strong safety who was to the tight end side looking for any kind of deep climb route or maybe an over route coming backside. If the play action had the tight end go out into the flats, maybe you'd have a problem with a linebacker covering it. But what the Jets defensive coordinator and players would say is you're not going to get time to do that. Let's look at Ahmad Gardner's angle. You've got run action away from him. So some people would kind of veer inside, worrying or wondering whether the ball was handed off or not. Now, the point at which I've stopped the video, it looks like he can see the football here, but this is happening so fast, the player doesn't get the benefit of knowing whether it's handed off or not instantly, like when I paused the video there. So the one thing you want to do is kind of make up your mind. Make up your mind, okay, what am I trying to defend? Am I trying to take away the run on the first snap of the game, which the Dolphins have an effective running game, a great scheme by Mike McDaniel? Am I going to sit and half man this, which means I'm going to wait until I see the ball committed to the run away, and then I'll take off, play the backside or the cutback of that, but you'd be late in the pursuit? Am I going to veer off to a point where I know the quarterback will be, like a Chandler Jones? That's what Chandler Jones would do. In most situations, he would chase the sack. And so I'm going to talk about a landmark. First of all, I'm going to pause it here as he makes contact with Bridgewater. Very important to make this tackle with your inside shoulder, your right shoulder, and keep your outside arm free. So that if you did miss this tackle, which Ahmad Gardner is not going to miss it, okay? If you did miss this tackle, the quarterback would be moving to the inside towards your teammates. And it's crazy to me that he doesn't get credit for a sack, a forced fumble, anything. It's ruled a team safety. I guess correct me if I'm wrong. I guess this was ruled an intentional grounding in the end zone, which is a team safety. I find it hard to believe that Ahmad Gardner shouldn't get a sack here on that designation, since it's considered intentional grounding in the end zone. But I guess they don't give a sack when there is intentional grounding. For Ravens fans that are watching this, Calais Campbell had one in week 1, very similar to this, I believe, except it wasn't in the end zone. All right, so the second part of this from the all-22 angle, and look, this film's going to be a little longer because, number one, I really like Ahmad Gardner as a player. Pre-draft process, I think I even said it, like I thought he was the best player in the draft, but I wouldn't have taken him number 1, meaning I felt like some of the guys, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker, might be more long-term, benefit because they're edge players and that pass rush is such a premium position. But he's having such a huge impact across the whole defense because people either aren't targeting him or when they do, bad things are happening. All right, so let's look at the running back. The running back's feet are on the hash because the ball is on the right hash. Watch where this contact takes place between Gardner and the quarterback. Now, it's a little bit inside the hash, but your aiming point, or at least our aiming point that we would teach, particularly against wing T teams, was wherever the back's right foot is, if he goes away and we're trying to take away the boot, we're trying to take away waggle in the wing T, then we want to originally aim for a point that's 1.5 yards to 2 yards outside of that running back. So then we can veer this in as needed, depending on the athleticism of the quarterback. If the quarterback is a non-athlete, we would tighten up our aiming point. We would be 1 yard outside that outside foot. In some cases, we'd be aiming at the outside foot. This to me looks like Gardner is starting to veer in and then veers back towards that landmark. I don't know what his landmark is, to be honest with you. He may not have had one because he's such a special athlete. You know, very easily could have been a touchdown. The Dolphins, give the Dolphins credit. They were able to hang around in this game. I think it was 19-14 at the half, and then the Jets just blew them away. You don't have Ahmad Gardner on the screen. This is a unique call, if you ask me, for a corner in the NFL to be blitzing on motion away because you very easily could get, the tight end late releasing out into the flats and some kind of over concept from the other side that would, stress or at least hold this safety. So aggressive call. I wonder if teams are going to give a similar formation look to the Jets in terms of tight end, fullback, or two tight ends to the right, and then motion one away and see if they can get Ahmad Gardner blitzing, maybe screen him over the top. But he's such a unique player. If you're a Jets fan, you have been really blessed with this draft. Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, and now Ahmad Gardner, who was obviously their first pick. Wonderful player. Seems like he has an impact every week. I don't watch Jets games, like I watch Ravens games, to be honest with you. I watch Ravens games and I chart all the plays, try to get as much detailed and as much data as my eyes can catch to Ravens fans by Sunday night. Certainly there's elements that I miss. If there was ever a week when the Jets were playing on a Sunday, maybe when the Ravens play on Thursday, I think against the Bucks, maybe I'll try to do a Jets game if people would be interested if you're watching the content. This is unique. This is special, and this is a guy who I think is already a top. I don't like top list, top 10, top 5. I think he's already a top 10 corner in the NFL for real. But I'm going to do a video later tonight, to be honest with you, asking the question of people, who's the best rookie corner in the league? Ahmad Gardner, Derek Stingley, or Tariq Woolen? Tariq Woolen has had an unbelievable impact for the Seahawks so far, drafted way later than Ahmad Gardner and Derek Stingley. So there's a lot of people that would say it's Tariq Woolen because you didn't have to allocate as many draft assets to get a guy who's making plays. I think he's playing in a little bit different system. I think he's asked a little bit to do a little bit different things than Ahmad Gardner or even Derek Stingley. But it's a great conversation to have. I really kind of don't like the who's better arguments, but I feel like it's a great video for me to show some DB film, talk about some of the coverages, the things they're doing with those players, and then let people in the comment sections kind of decide who they think is better. Appreciate you guys' time. This was a little bit longer video for One Play Wednesday, but I thought it was worthy, especially because Ahmad Gardner's been playing at a high level in pass coverage, and now you're showing somebody who they can bring on these DB blitzes and who can apparently have an impact, at least when he's unblocked. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video and my breakdown in the comment section.